multiple decades of evolution that you can actually play. So here's how everything works here.
How do you actually get these pinball games? Is it like an auction or something else?
We get them from a lot of different places. I can answer that question a little bit later. So here's how everything works while we do these field trips. I'm going to take you around this entire place over here. I'm going to explain a little bit about how these games work, the little mechanics on how they actually run, how they move, how they have evolved over time, and how a lot of the different history just evolves. The thing that you need to know about these kind of games is that it is a series of different companies trying desperately to outmaneuver, outmechanize, and out-engineer each other to make the most crazy possible game that they can make in order to outdo their competition in the market. So there's always a whole bunch of different companies trying to just advance technology for the sake of profit. So if you'll excuse me real quick, we're going to take this over here.
Howdy. Oh, may never get petted more than it will today.
Oh, he's always ready for it.
Yes, I've been here many times.
Oh, good.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it very much. We're desperately trying to get on everyone's school list, you know? Well, it's important.
I think we good as well. We'll definitely
Great.
hike it up.
As we're doing everything, just so I know that you're paying attention, just so that I can keep all of your attention for as long as I can, I'm going to do this little thing. When I go ahead and sing, someone told me life was gonna be this way. Let's try that.
Zach was a drama man.
So someone told me life was gonna be this way. Awesome. So, here we have some of the pinball machines that we've opened up. If you take a look over by the Miss Pac-Man over there when you get a chance, you're going to notice that a lot of that machine is going to be hollow. It's just a series of a couple of boards, tubes, and a control panel that can actually get these things to work. Pinball machines are a little bit more complicated than that. So, when you're looking at a pinball game, you're going to see two major types. You're going to have your electromechanicals and you're going to have your solid states. How can you tell the difference, and what even is the difference here? So, electromechanicals, these are going to be your older games. These are going to be your games that are mostly along that back wall over there. They're going to be the games that you notice don't have a digital display for scoring. They have these little fun little score reels, these little tickers that actually work through. Whereas your solid state machines are going to be a little bit more digital in that way. So the major difference that you'll find is actually within the games themselves. So, if you take a look at the electromechanical machines here. So, these games, they have to be run entirely mechanically. That means that every single thing on this playfield, on this back headboard and everything, has to be wired to itself and to a series of switches that will tell the game exactly what to do. So on these games, you're going to have things such as these slingshots right here, or these bumpers over here. And basically, you're going to see on playfields and such different parts. A ball hits a bumper, that has to be wired all the way down into this main board right here. That will tell, because it is wired directly to a series of switches, these switches act as ones and zeros. We call them relays. And these direct wired switches will actually tell the game, hey, it just hit a bumper. That means that we need to run the scoring reel, we need to play some noise, and we need to reset these switches so that we know that the game can continue running. So these games were extremely complicated. I call them an absolute miracle of science because just how people thought of this stuff blows my absolute mind. But it had a couple of problems. These games were, because of how they're directly wired, they can be a little bit cumbersome. They can be a little bit slower. You can't have these really fast and chaotic games like you do with the solid state games just because of how everything has to run in here. There's a small amount of delay with how many times you can actually hit stuff and have the game recognize that you're hitting stuff. So, in the 1970s, late 70s, you have this strange new technology coming out. You have these computer boards that are kind of really making their rounds. So pinball decided it needed to make a change. Computer boards in games. You take all these guts inside of here, all these ones and zeros that you have for these relay switches, get them out. We don't need them anymore. We have little chips that will actually say, here's my ones, here's my zeros, here's how the game is actually going to work. So these games, all of a sudden, because you have an actual board, because you have these computer games that are much, much quicker, they will actually run faster, they can be more chaotic, and it's just so much better for the pinball industry. These games can be much better made, like computer boards at this point were a dime a dozen, so they could be much cheaper made. They were much lighter to actually ship, so you actually have all these kind of games moving in, and you can finally mass produce them. You can finally have these crazy cycles like the Addams Family 25,000 or the Twilight Zone that we have, which is about 28,000 machines shipped all around the country. Question?
How does that work?
Absolutely nothing. It's not actually tied to anything. So, if you'll excuse me, I need the parts direction.